Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Jelly Japan Throwaway, posted to r/relationships, April 20th, 2026. That's not what that says at all, that's 2016. I keep making that mistake and I have no idea why. My boyfriend and his family are going on my dream vacation and I don't know how to deal with my jealousy. Hi r/relationships. First of all, I wanted to acknowledge how petty this is of me. I have no doubt in my mind that the jealousy I'm feeling is completely uncalled for. I just want to know how to deal with it. So, for years and years, it has been my dream to visit Japan. I began learning Japanese in elementary school, and I am fascinated by their culture. I cook Japanese food, read books in Japanese, and stay up to date with the culture. As I'm graduating college in a few months, I would love to have a travel-the-world vacation over the summer to Japan, but sadly, it's just not possible. I don't have that kind of money. To make matters even worse, my junior year, I was given the opportunity to study abroad there and even receive a small scholarship, but the degree plan I'm in would not permit it. My boyfriend of 3 years, Jack, and his family, late 50s, are all aware of my love of Japan and desire to visit, and even the sensitive subject of the failed study abroad semester. So when his parents surprised me by telling me about their trip to Japan this summer, I was confused and shocked. Jack has zero interest in going to Japan. He's told me as much since then, and he didn't even know about the vacation until his parents told me. The biggest problem is, every time they make more plans in Japan, booking tickets, meeting with tour guides, adding another place to visit, they make a big show of it to me and fill me in on every last detail. Maybe they think it'll be interesting to me, but in reality it just upsets me. And yes, I know for a fact that I am not invited. They've made it very clear that it's just a family vacation. They've also met with and hired a local translator to come on vacation with them. They're paying for his vacation and his translating services. And the selfish part of me wants to know, why couldn't they have just used me? I'm fluent. Jack and his family have taken lavish family trips for as long as I have known them. They're very wealthy and have taken numerous enviable vacations. The Bahamas, New York, England, France, the Grand Canyon, whereas I have never been out of our home state. And all of the places they've been before seem like typical hotspots for tourists and travelers. I just can't understand why they want to go to Japan, the one place that I've gushed about visiting for years to them, and why they've decided to make a big publicity show about it. I need your help in how to cope with this jealousy. Is it something that I should just suck up and deal with, or should I speak to Jack about it? I feel like it's so trivial that telling him how I feel would be pointless. I also want to know how to kindly tell his parents to stop mentioning every detail of their trip to me. Too long didn't read, boyfriend and his family are taking the post-college vacation that I have always wanted to a country that I have spent years wanting to visit. How to deal with jealousy. Relevant comments, Bashful Turtle. They make a big show of it to me and fill me in on every last detail. Maybe they think that it'll be interesting to me, but in reality it just upsets me. It sounds to me as though they really want you to come, but they don't want to, understandably, pay your expenses. I would love to have a travel-the-world vacation over the summer to Japan, but sadly, it's just not possible. I don't have that kind of money. Are Jack's parents aware of this? It's hard to fault them if not. If they deliberately chose Japan because they know you like it, have shared every departure and arrival detailed transit hotel, then it really seems like they are opening their family vacation up to the possibility of you joining. That said, it's a long life and you seem like you're on a good track. After college, you can look for employment in Japan if you love it so much. Sorry it isn't working out for you now, but don't lose hope. OP responds, "Hi, thanks for the reply. The bit about working in Japan does sound really exciting. Unfortunately, they are very aware of my income problem. They know that I've wanted to go there over previous summer vacations, but haven't had the money for it. And I even think I mentioned not being able to pay for it this summer either, before they announced their trip. Part of what makes me so jealous is that they're flaunting this extravagant vacation despite being aware of my financial situation, sad face. Like you said, I think this is all well-intentioned by them. It could be possible that they want me to tag along. I know this vacation is going to be in the middle of a hiking trip Jack and I were planning, so maybe they're trying to tell me something? User der Nuben freaking! And what does Jack say about this? Is that hiking trip canceled now? I'm wondering if this is somehow them trying to get Jack to do something, like pay for your trip or break up with you, or something even weirder. OP responds, I actually haven't put much thought into the hiking trip, but yeah, I suppose it is canceled now. It was just an idea though, nothing completely concrete, so it can be rescheduled. Not sure about any of that. They seem to really like me as his girlfriend, but admittedly, I don't have any idea what they truly think. Jack does not have a job yet, going into the workforce after college, so I don't think they want him to pay. Update, April 27th, 2016, 1 week later. Hi, relationships! Thank you for all your advice in my previous post. To those of you giving me information on programs in Japan, thank you. I took all of your advice to heart, but unfortunately, I already have a job in the STEM field lined up to begin this summer, and programs like those are not in the realm of possibilities. Anyway, on to the actual update. I talked to Jack the night after I made my post. I told him that I knew his parents meant well by it, but the way they were constantly filling me in on the details of their trip made me more sad than interested. At first, Jack didn't understand what I was trying to say or why hearing about the trip would upset me. When I reminded him about my rejection from the study abroad program and the time he'd spent helping me work through that, he was able to empathize a little more. Jack told me he recognized that his parents were, albeit indirectly, being rude by going out of their way to tell me about the vacation. He said that gushing so much about a vacation to anyone who wasn't going was insensitive, and if I asked them politely, they would tone it down. Unfortunately, he refused to talk to them himself. I'd requested that he do so to get things resolved a little more smoothly, but in the end, it was up to me. I decided to call ahead and visit Jack's parents privately to have the conversation, instead of during or after one of our dinners. That would have been awkward. I broached the subject with his parents by saying that I appreciated their thoughtfulness in trying to keep me updated on the vacation planning, but that travel to Japan was still a sore subject to me, and hearing about it made me sad. I spoke for a while about my dream to travel there, the study abroad, and how I was very regretful that the experience had impacted me so strongly. It was incredibly selfish of me to get jealous so easily, and I planned to work on my sensitivity in light of the issue. I had hoped that by making the conversation more focused on my behavior than theirs, it would deflect the blame from them and feel like less of a direct attack. It did not work so well. Throughout my whole monologue, they were completely silent. As soon as I finished, Jack's mom said quite coldly, "I'm sorry you're offended." I kept the conversation going for a few more minutes, trying my hardest to reiterate that it wasn't their fault, but I received only short, cold responses. Jack's dad did not speak at all and walked out of the room as soon as I stood up to leave. Before I left, I thanked his mother for speaking with me and said I'd see them at dinner during the week. Her only response was, "We'll see." When I told Jack about the confrontation, he was confused by their reaction but changed his stance on the whole thing. Now he's saying that I was being unreasonable from the start, and I should have been able to tell they would take it poorly, as it was rude of me to mention it to them at all. He insists that they would have had the same reaction if he had told them instead of me. Over the course of the week, Jack's parents never contacted me about dinner, which the four of us usually have together weekly. Our dinner dates are always on Wednesday, so yesterday I decided to take the plunge and give his mom a call. I asked if she was still on for our usual Wednesday dinner and told her I'd been wanting to make a new recipe for them to try for a while now. She said, "Sorry, that's not going to work." And that was the end of the conversation. So here's where I am now, hurt and completely confused. His parents are ignoring me completely, and my relationship with Jack is strained since he vehemently denies supporting me at all. I'm at a loss for what to do here. I don't know why either of them reacted like this. Any advice is appreciated, as always, but I've decided to just see if time will mend the wounds. In the meantime, I'm reconsidering my relationship with all three of them. Too long didn't read. Talked to my boyfriend. He understood, but wanted me to tell the parents myself. They were upset. Jack has apparently taken their side, and parents have avoided contact for the past week. Edit. Jack's mom called me on the phone a couple of hours ago. In a nutshell, she told me very spitefully that they brought it up to me so frequently to make me jealous. She said they were hoping I would eventually break down and beg them to pay for me to come. That way, they could show Jack that I'm of a lesser social standing and Not a good fit for him. Then she basically broke up with me for Jack over the phone. What the fuck? I am honestly at such a loss here. Maybe this was just a lie she made up because she was offended, but even so, it's incredibly hurtful. I have no idea if Jack knows about any of this, but I don't care. I'm done with him and them. I do not want to be associated with such classist, manipulative people. This was such a terrific waste of 3 years of my life. Too long didn't read. Update. Jack's mom called me and claims they wanted to make me jealous enough to beg to go on the trip with them so that Jack would see how poor I was and break up with me. I wonder if in the last 10 years, if Jack is still this close with his parents or if he's realized they're just destroying his relationships because they're that classist and entitled. Ugh. Jack's mom was probably upset with the fact that her plan to reveal how trashy she was instead revealed how trashy they were. They don't like the mirror reflecting back at them, so gotta have my little sweet boy break up with the girl that's obviously just here for the money, obviously. But instead, got a reality check that OP's actually very well-mannered and just simply didn't want her dream vacation to be constantly rubbed into her face by people who were doing exactly that. Not just on accident, but clearly on purpose. I did see some comments on the original thread and in the best of talking about the fact of like, well, that doesn't really make sense because why would they invite OP to a bunch of family dinners? Ammunition. I had an ex that would do this. They would invite people they were upset with under the guise of it being friendly, gather information through gossip and random drama, and then weaponize it against them. They'll create a friendly environment, get maybe liquor involved or something, and loosen the spirits, and figure out what they can poke at. In the case of this post, Japan. This was a dream of OP's. I wouldn't be surprised if a scholarship opportunity came up. I'd be shocked if her fluency or ability to cook Japanese dishes never came up, especially because that was something that OP offered to the family as something she wanted to try to make for the next dinner. So it makes sense more breadcrumbs over 3 years would have been dropped, enough so that when they finally decided, okay, time to get rid of her, they attack one of the things that means so much to her. It's gross, and it's very telling of who they really are as people. This post was collected by Dread Caterpillar77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is alt Reddit account Y, posted January 19th, 2016 to r/relationships. I, 21 male, just found out that my girlfriend, 20 female, has a Reddit account, which she uses to comment on my posts. Throwaway for obvious reasons, but this is the fucking strangest thing. I've been dating Steph for 4 months. She doesn't use Reddit. Or so I thought. The other day, I was at her place while she was doing some homework. Kind of bored, I asked if I could check my email on her laptop, which was open and playing music. She said sure. As she went about her chores, I decided to go on Reddit for a bit. When I went to log in, the drop-down menu suggested a specific username. It didn't have the password saved, which means that even though she unchecked Remember Me, it still remembered her username. At first, I was just like, she totally does Reddit and was only pretending not to, so I wouldn't ask her for her user. I can't blame her, lol. But then I realized I recognized the name. Later, when I went home, I looked it up. Every single thing this user had posted was in response to me. She literally only uses Reddit just to talk to me. And they weren't like overwhelmingly supportive or negative posts, so she's not using Reddit to bully me or otherwise. But she's just talking. It's so freaking weird. What do? Do I call her out? Too long didn't read, found out my girlfriend secretly has Reddit, and she only uses it to respond to my posts. Should I tell her? Edit, I'm just going to say that I posted this question because I was wondering if her behavior was dark or creepy or something I should be concerned about. Most of the replies make it seem like her behavior is lighthearted with nothing to really stress over, which is good. But I honestly did post this with serious intentions and concerns. Whoever posted the follow-up question to this sub from the perspective of my girlfriend is just a troll. Relevant comments, Agons18. Does she know your username? OP responds, I mean, I've never told it to her, but she knows I read it. She and I hung out at my place, just watching TV while I'm scrolling through Reddit, so I assume she has seen it. She's never, been interested or asked. Agons18 responds, maybe just mention it casually, like, hey, I noticed you have a Reddit account too. That's awesome. Why didn't you tell me? And make it seem like you didn't realize it was only commenting to you or something. Update. February 16th, 2016, 1 month later. Sorry it's been so long since I posted. Well, I seriously considered taking the top commenter's advice. The whole chain of comments is deleted now, but the advice was to make a separate Reddit account that only responds to things that Steph posted. Fuck with her, basically. I actually decided not to do this because I didn't want to go through the long charade of it. I just wanted some answers. So I decided just to ask her about it. Well, even though I approached her gently, she completely freaked. She asked how I knew it was her commenting on my posts this whole time. And I explained what happened. I then asked her to explain why she was doing what she did. She said she noticed my username when I was browsing Reddit in front of her. She got curious and wanted to see my profile, because she didn't know what Reddit was. Then she got intrigued. She started commenting on my posts just because she wanted to talk to me online. There wasn't really a special reason for why she did it. She said she never actually thought that I would figure out it was her. But then I pointed out that couldn't completely be true, because I noticed that she was a Redditor for longer than we had been dating. So clearly, she did not learn about what Reddit was through me. I was ready to laugh off the situation, but she got immediately humiliated and broke up with me. This caught me off guard and I tried to salvage it, but she was adamant and went no contact. She even deleted all her comments from her Reddit account. Here's the even weirder thing. I haven't talked to her in like a month, but she's doing it to somebody else now. I checked her Reddit account and all her old posts to me are deleted, but there's a whole series of new posts. They're all replies to the same one user. I don't know who the new user is. Maybe she's dating somebody else. But I did some quick math, and I realized that even when she was doing it to me, her comment karma did not match what it should have been if she was just responding to only my posts. It was higher. And then I realized deleting comments doesn't change your overall karma score. So this means that she had made many other comments before, deleted them all, and then started responding to only me. Now she seems like she's doing it again. All in all, it's a very strange situation. I'm glad to be out of it. Too Long Didn't Read approached girlfriend about what happened. She got really embarrassed that she got caught and broke up with me. Deleted all her old comments, but now is doing it again. Now she's doing her weird comment response thing to somebody else's account. Final comments, beer and crumpets. Well, that's weird. User Zykium responds. OP dodged being a suit of skin in her closet. User Judicious F responds further. OP dodged audition, the interactive experience. Hans Problemman comments. I'm glad you posted an update, but I don't know what to make of it. That is incredibly weird. There wasn't really a special reason for why she did it. I expect there was, and holy shit, do I ever want to know. User Bobby Gosh, don't you know? Comments. I don't think it was anything insidious. I think she was a stage 1 clinger. She knows this and feels like a stalker and is incredibly embarrassed about it, and just couldn't face him after the embarrassment of being found out. Hans Problemman responds further. It probably is something as mundane as that, but as we don't know for sure, I'm gonna keep the faith in it being truly bizarre. So, her mark gets compromised and she moves on to the next one? Funny enough, the moment that I actually recorded that, I scrolled down and I found, guess who? Big O Nerd, who pretty much commented the same exact thing. So that's, that's kind of funny. But that was kind of my thought, is that maybe she kind of marks someone and this is a weird way for her to keep tabs on them and to covertly figure out what they're interested in and shape who she is around them. And this is totally tinfoil hat theory, but essentially using the Reddit account as a way to be the perfect girlfriend for them, sharing the same interests, hobbies, views, and the way that she was doing this was found out. So she burned the bridge, found someone new, and rinse and repeat. Worst part is, OP told her how he found out, so she's not gonna make that mistake again. I don't know, it's my tinfoil hat that she's using Reddit and essentially stalking her partners by anonymously interacting with them to essentially build herself into the perfect girlfriend that just happens to share all the same interests and hobbies as them. I don't know though. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because this is a weird situation and I'm kind of just grasping at straws for an explanation because my brain is just like, what the fuck? This post was collected by Shark Ava, and their tagline is, you get what you pay for and Reddit is free. The original OP is ConstantBelt9862, posted to r/marriage the 2nd of August 2026. The post itself is titled, Strange New Update. My 26 male, wife 27 female, wants to have a baby next year and says she can't wait longer due to PCOS, but I want to wait till she's 29 so we can have our own paid off apartment and enjoy being married first and prepare accordingly. We're divorcing tomorrow. Is this the correct path forward? We got married a year ago and genuinely love each other. We just celebrated our anniversary 2 weeks ago, which makes all of this feel even more surreal and sudden. She has PCOS and has been clear that she wants to start trying for a baby next year. We discussed having kids before marriage, and I told her that the next 2 years wouldn't work for me. I'm not against having kids. I want them with her. I just don't feel ready for the massive life change that comes with being a father. I'm 26 and she's 27, and I feel like we're still young. I want us to have more time together, enjoy our marriage, build our lives, get our own apartment, pay it off, do fun things together, become more financially stable, and actually feel prepared before bringing a child into our lives. I told her I'd be comfortable trying when she's 29. She feels that waiting is unacceptable, partly because she has PCOS and is worried about her fertility and age. I've looked into the medical side of this as well. From what I understand, there isn't a sudden fertility cliff between 27 and 30, including for women with PCOS. A recent analysis of PCOS patients found no significant difference in clinical pregnancy or live birth rates between the 20 to 24, 25 to 29, and 30 to 34 age groups. Obviously, that doesn't guarantee anything for an individual woman, but it made me question whether we really needed to rush solely because she has PCOS. We've talked about this repeatedly, and neither of us seems willing to change our position. My original position was early 30s. Then I moved to 29, and eventually said I'd be willing to reconsider sooner once we had our own apartment and were more financially stable. She hasn't accepted any of those options. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. we're meeting to begin the divorce procedure. She feels I'm taking away something she deeply wants. I feel that having a child is a decision both people need to genuinely want and feel ready for, not something one person can set a deadline for. I love her and want children with her. I just don't want to become a estranged father before I'm ready simply to save our marriage. Am I being unreasonable, or is this a fundamental incompatibility that neither of us should compromise on? Comments, No You 1016. Crazy that people divorce this easily. Wow. OP responds, she wants to. I swear it's not me. I compromised. She didn't meet me halfway. No You 1016 responds further, is she willing to go to counseling at all? That's crazy. I'm sorry. OP responds, no, she has anger issues too, by the way. She actually suggested therapy herself to work on them. When I brought it up and said that maybe she also needs some time to work on that, especially because dealing with anger issues while raising a child can be difficult, she got mad, but that's the truth. I'm pretty laid back, but with a kid, work, and all the added shit, I know I'd probably be much more on edge. User Charismatic Albino comments, none of it matters now, you've driven her away, congratulations. She'll now find someone else to have children with, or she'll do it on her own. OP responds, she wants the divorce and she didn't meet me halfway. Why am I the one being blamed? I'm not ready yet. I can't agree just to save my marriage. I have to be 100% certain. User B-Bladen comments, you act like marriage is always 50-50. It's usually not. Sometimes it's 70-30 or 20-80 or 60-40. If you can't agree to save your marriage, then it's already over and was likely to fail anyway. You'll both probably be better off. User Hot Waffles 5 comments further, marriage is full of sacrifices and compromises. Marriage is a lot of work. This guy seems to not be up to the task. OP responds, you kinda missed the part when I compromised and she didn't. I've consistently compromised from early 30s to 29, to at least waiting until we have our own apartment, which realistically would have been next year. She herself originally wanted us to have our own place before kids, but now she's saying she wants kids with or without it. She's also changed her position. At least I've tried to meet her halfway. User Isoplexic comments, are you willing to trade an entire life with her for 2 more years of child-free life? OP responds, those extra 2 years could make a huge difference in whether we're able to secure our own place or end up spending our savings on raising a child. I'd rather establish our own home first than risk having a landlord tell us to move out someday because he wants the place for his kids or something. And honestly, I'd rather have those 2 extra years to enjoy our freedom, travel, do whatever we want, and build our life together than jump into parenthood now, where a child becomes a 24/7 responsibility. That completely changes our lives and takes a huge amount of time and energy. Update. 1 day later. Just wanted to give everyone who commented on my original post a quick update. We met today and it was very amicable. No drama, no arguments, no heavy conversations. We just talked normally, like we usually would. We went through the process together. We submitted the papers and our hearing is scheduled for September 9th. There's still a lot of love and respect between us, but we both understand where we stand. I'm not sure what happens between now and September 9th, but for now, that's where things are. Thank you to everyone who took the time to give advice respectfully, share their experiences, or even disagree with me. I read pretty much everything, and some of it genuinely gave me a lot to think about. Comments. Prestigious Step 4337. Gosh, I am so sorry. There's no answer to this. It's just a sad state to find yourself. You're definitely right to not want to become a father before you're ready. Whatever that looks like for you. Stable home and job is a great start. Because kids come with many unforeseen complications. It's a never-ending cycle of exhaustion, money out the door, laundry, and homework. It's not something to take lightly, and it sounds like you already know this. Best of luck, OP. OP responds, yeah, I'm honestly devastated that it came to this over a child who doesn't even exist yet. Someone who, years from now, might not even understand why we made such a painful decision for their sake. It hurts to think that our marriage could end over a future child who may one day look at us and say, I never asked to be brought into this world. Update. 2 days later. Update 2. 26 male, married to 27 female with PCOS. I'm considering an option I never thought I'd even entertain. I've read every single comment on my posts, even the ones that stung. I really do appreciate all of it. I also want to thank everyone who reached out privately. I did not expect that, and it meant more than you know. This is a personal update. I feel terrible even typing this. I never thought I would be the kind of person to consider something like this, but here I am, stuck between 2 choices and both of them feel wrong. I need to give you more context so that you understand why this is breaking me. Her father passed away when she was young. She still has nightmares where she's a little girl again, begging him not to leave, asking him why he went away. She wakes up sobbing, and I've been there for every single one of those nights. I hold her until she falls back asleep. Over time, she started telling me that I fill that gap for her. She sees me like a father in some ways because I've done things with her that she never got to do as a kid. Simple things like going to amusement parks and just making her feel safe. In many ways, I see her as someone who never got to fully heal, and I've tried my best to be that person for her. Seeing her vulnerable like that breaks my heart. I cannot imagine leaving her and knowing she would spend even more time trying to heal from our relationship when I've been the one person who has stood by her through everything. I know she would not be okay. I know she would struggle to move on, and I cannot stand the thought of that. And even if she did eventually find someone else, it would not be simple. She cannot just get a donor. She would have to marry again and find someone who accepts her, and then go through the whole process of trying to build a family from scratch. The same time it would take for me to quietly delay things would be the same time she would spend trying to rebuild her life. Except she would be alone and treated like damaged goods by families who judge divorced women. I love her too much to let that happen to her. She does not want that either. She wants kids with me, and she feels like I am holding her back from motherhood. She looked broken when we met for the divorce procedure. I know she's been having a terrible time, and I think part of her hoped the divorce talk would make me reconsider. Behind her firm position, there's a weak girl from whom I genuinely consider a daughter in my heart. We were best friends for 3 years before we married, by the way. So here's the part I'm ashamed to admit. I have thought about going along with the plan. Bear with me. Quietly taking subtle steps to reduce our chances of conceiving right away, basically self-sabotaging myself. Things that lower sperm count, reserves, quality, temporarily to delay conception. Nothing permanent, nothing medical, nothing harmful, just enough to buy us time until we have our own place and I actually feel ready. I'm not trying to steal her chance at motherhood. She has PCOS and she always tells me it'll probably take us years to conceive anyway. so in my mind, I'm not ruining anything. I'm just trying to prevent the one scenario where it happens immediately before we're stable. Honestly, even without any self-sabotage, it would probably take years anyway. I have a desk job, no time for fitness, work stress, I eat red meat and sugar constantly. I probably already have low sperm. She would never be able to find out because I might genuinely have low numbers already. But doing this just makes sure that she would be happy that I'm finally trying. I do not want to do this. I really do not. But I do not see another way. If I tell her the truth, I risk losing her and putting her through all of that pain. If I go along with it, I risk becoming a father before I'm ready. And if I quietly delay things, we have a chance. So my question is this. If you were in my position and you genuinely could not find another way, what would you do? I'm already carrying a heavy weight and I just need honest perspectives without being torn apart. Comments. Yeet thermometer. No, just no. I read your post history and you need to get out of this situation yesterday. The commenters on the first post basically ignored you and focused entirely on her, forgetting that you have a whole lifetime ahead of you as well. She threatens divorce when she doesn't get what she wants, but doesn't really mean it to get her way. That's coercive. If you think this will end with a kid, it won't. Congrats. You now have no say in the size of your future family because she's willing to go nuclear before listening to you. Not at least because of people like the commenters to your earlier post. She crossed the Rubicon. Now you live there. In case of a loss of cabin pressure, put your mask on first before assisting others. Your wife is grinding you down, sucking the life from you and dictating the course of your future without really considering you at all. You are not responsible for what happens to her and her chances for a kid once you leave. She made some serious mistakes with you, and she'll have to live with them. You can't make her heal on your own, and you are not personally responsible for creating the dream family she pictures as the answer to her trauma. So, no sperm count games, this isn't getting better. You can't bide your time until you're ready because when you're ready, it should be with someone who sees you as more than a tool to get her dream life. User Arian Kennefret. I couldn't agree more. Children really are a 2 yes situation, not 2 yes under duress. OP responds, I agree, but to her, she may not be able to get pregnant later. She says she knows people with PCOS who are 29 could no longer get pregnant, so she worries the same could happen to her. User Yeet Thermometer comments, as mentioned previously, divorcing you, finding someone else and getting comfortable enough with them to have a baby, and having that baby would likely blow up her desired timeline as well. That makes it even clearer that divorce threats were manipulative. It's not hard to see why she feels like her back is up against the wall. Once again, your needs and feelings have zero to do with it. If, during any of this, you mattered to her as a person, it would have shown up in her words and actions. User Bug and Arugsnug comments, I don't really understand. Neither of you are going to get what you want. Your marriage and future is going to go up in flames because you can't come to a compromise. If it were the fact that you never wanted children, then fair enough. That is a valid reason for divorce, but the fact that you are both unwilling to compromise on a 24-month timescale and divorce over it is wild to me. Surely there is a way to meet in the middle. OP responds, she wants to start trying next year and she's terrified that any delay will make it harder or even impossible. She believes the longer we wait, the more her chances slip away. To her, time is not on her side, and every year that passes feels like a door closing. User, oh wait a minute, it's Bug in a Rug Snug, not Bug in a Rug Snug. I feel like an idiot. Keeping that in there just in case. Am I misunderstanding that you said you're happy to try when you're 29 and you're 27 now? There's a maximum of 12 months before your desired timelines. Without knowing when your birthday is, it could be as little as 3 months between your desired timelines. I don't understand why either of you are willing to throw away your marriage over such a small timescale rather than just changing perspective to sit in the middle of the timescale. Not a single fucking person is listening to OP. OP responds, I've even let go of the age limit and I told her I'd consider trying sooner if we had our own place first. But she wants a firm commitment from me that we'll start trying next year, regardless of whether we have our own place by then. A lot of people seem to either forget or just are ignoring the fact that OP already conceded on his own timeline and met her in the middle already, and she's not happy with the middle they agreed on. User Ladybug1259 comments, don't do this. It's a terrible idea for many reasons. The deception is terrible and a betrayal regardless of whether she knows about it. I'm weirded out by your wording about seeing her as a daughter, and sperm quality can cause miscarriages, not just delayed conception. I genuinely don't understand why you're incapable of reaching an agreement about this. She wants to start trying in a year. You are dead set on buying a place first and then trying, but you said in a comment you almost bought a place a month ago, so just buy one in the next year and you're good. It's also not hard to be in the process of buying while you're trying. I wouldn't suggest waiting until she's pregnant to start looking, but you'd be totally fine if you're closing on a house and TTC at the same time. Or divorce if that's what you both want. OB responds with what's hopefully much needed context. I think you misunderstood what I meant when I said I see her like a daughter. I did not mean it in a weird way. I meant it in the way that I have watched her experience things for the first time that she should have experienced with her father. Simple things like going to an amusement park, etc. We like to do fun stuff. She never had that growing up, and I got to be the one to share it with her. Seeing her face light up in those moments is one of the best feelings in the world. That's all I meant. Nothing strange. Just a man who loves his wife and has tried to fill a void that was never her fault. User It's Meshly 29. I mean, this is horrible. She ever finds out you did this and it'll destroy her. Get the divorce. It is so much worse. OP responds, like I said, even without any self-sabotage, it would probably take years anyway. I work a desk job. I have no time for fitness. I deal with constant work stress. I eat red meat and sugar like it's going out of style. I probably already have low sperm count without doing anything. So I'm not actively ruining anything even if I honestly tried without sabotaging myself. Yes, we're currently living separately while we think everything through. We have about a month to decide whether to retract everything or move forward with the divorce. I might be out of line here, but I think Reddit is just way off the mark here. And this is why I say when Redditors like, thank you Reddit for doing X, Y, and Z, why I always just chime in with that don't give them credit. Because sometimes they'll give great advice, and other times you have people like, this fucking loser isn't ready for commitment. What an idiot. Psh, he's not ready for sacrifice and compromise. This guy seems to not be up to the task. When he already was making sacrifices and compromises. He already did make a sacrifice and a compromise. He already did try to have conversations and find middle grounds. And now he's finding a middle ground between what she wants and the middle ground they previously agreed on. And he's being called selfish for that, for not giving in further. And what she is doing is manipulative and short-sighted. She wants to have a baby next year, but she's willing to divorce the guy who's willing to have a child in 2 years? In that year, she would need to get divorced, find a new guy, find one that's stable enough, and just have a massive luck of the draw who she's willing to then have a child with within that year in order to meet her timeline. At best, it's incredibly short-sighted. At worst, it's a manipulation tactic. And then because of that, because he's being told that he's not committing hard enough, he's now got it in his head that for him to be an equal partner, he needs to sabotage his body to make her happy. I also really do hope the whole weird, father/seeing her as a daughter dynamic is just really poor wording at his part, because that just screams this is not a healthy relationship dynamic in the slightest, and he probably needs some therapy on top of that for both of you. He also brings up a great point about the fact that she needs to go to anger management before they start looking to have a child. That's a pretty risky environment to raise a child in if her anger management is what he describes it to be. And hell, there's probably more shit that I'm worrying about. We've got anger management and ultimatums on one side, and we've got OP, who's trying to sabotage his body behind her back and sees her as his daughter. There's so much more I'm probably missing too, because it felt like every other paragraph there was some kind of new aluminum bat waiting around the corner. Good lord. I think you guys either need to divorce, get marriage counseling, seek therapy, or something. No matter what though, what you two have going on here needs to get sorted out before you guys have kids, without a fucking doubt. If you two stay together, which honestly... Hey, it's the outro. Don't forget gamer subs. Use code OZ at checkout. Yeah, you guys have really been using the hell out of the code. Don't forget you can get free samples and whatnot. I know a lot of you guys have already done that, but if you haven't already, use code OZ, get some free samples, they'll ship it to you in a little envelope, and bada booey. You can give it a shot before you commit to like a $40 tub of whatever you kind of flavor you enjoy, which with 10% off it's only $36. But that's 100 servings, by the way. 100 servings for $36. 2 servings usually equal your standard can of energy drink, which, at a gas station might cost you anywhere from $2 to $5. So think about that. That's a pretty good deal. You get your caffeine fix and you don't spend nearly as much money. Plus, they also have like shirts and mouse pads and sweatpants, all of which are super comfy, and the designs are pretty cool. Yeah, just a lot of stuff. Their shirts are so goddamn comfortable. I love wearing them in the recording booth because they just feel really good and they don't overheat. It's a great material, all right? I don't really know what else to say. And on a final closing note, I'm trying to kind of keep videos not from being like 50 minutes because just with the general pull of YouTube, it really does try to encourage me to make longer and longer videos. And that's just not sustainable for daily uploads. So I'm trying to pull back and keep it at 40, except for special occasions like, if it's like a really good post or a long post, or maybe there's a reason for it to be as long as it is, or it's a saga or something, but I'm gonna aim for the 40-minute mark. That seems to be where most people are happy, and hopefully that's a-okay with y'all. YouTube seems to really hate it when I upload a video that's not over 40 minutes long. Last time I had a 39-minute video, it performed horrifically. Despite all the other statistics being right where they wanted to, from how often people would click on it, how long people were watching it, and all of that kind of stuff, just for some reason, that one video, despite all of the analytics being properly in check and the data looking perfect, YouTube did not give it nearly as many impressions as it did to a video that had the same stats but was 1 minute longer. And when I say same stats, I mean it had the same click-through rate, it had the same retention time, which if it had the same retention time, that means that the 40-minute video actually performed worse than the 39-minute video. But for some reason, YouTube just didn't push it as much. So now I'm kind of locked in this position where if I want the channel to continue to perform well, I'm stuck in 40-minute videos. Which I don't mind, I've gotten pretty good at recording those in one day, but the issue is that pushing to the 50 to the higher 40s, it's taken a lot out of me. So I'm going to try to pull back a little bit, make that a bit easier. During the time where I was on vacation, I was aiming for that range and the channel actually performed very nicely. Very happy about that. But yeah, thank you all for your support, whether it's watching the videos or being a member on the channel or leaving comments or likes or using code eyes at checkout with gamersubs or however you tend to approach it. There are many ways to support this and not everyone is going to be able to support the same way. But the fact that you guys are here means a lot to me. So thank you, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.